I did a believe in myself spell. And it didn't really work how I thought it would. I assumed that doing it would mean that the thing that I needed belief for to finish, I'm working on the biggest painting I've ever worked on. I thought that I would just be able to do it, you know? I thought that I would do this thing, this action that makes me believe in myself, and then suddenly it would work. And maybe, kind of, that's what happened. I have what I wrote down here so I can read it to you guys, what I did and the outcome of it, and I think it's something that everyone can do. I think it's really fun to use our imagination to do a spell. It was almost like a play. I know some people do what's called like Gestalt therapy. It was really similar to that. It was me playing through a moment almost in pretend, like we used to when we were a kid, like playing, but I called it a believe in myself spell. So, hi, I'm Sunflower. I am the artist behind The Curious Little Frog and The Curious Little Frog Studio. My friends call me Sunny or Sunflower, but today I wanted to read the Believe in Myself spell, so I'll read that for you guys now. First I'll tell you how I set it up. I made a little portal to the future using some little gifts that friends have given me and people who believe in me. So like the very first person who made me famous, who is my friend now, my biggest fans, the people who have, you know, my best friends, like all of the people who have given me something because they believe in me. I lined that up like a little, like in a little line on the floor. And then what I needed to do this spell for is I'm doing the biggest painting of my life, and I want to believe in myself enough to do it, because I think that's the only thing that's stopping me. I have the skills, I know that. I know I have the ability to do this, but it feels so big and daunting because it's not something I have experience in, is painting this big. And I've tried painting big before, and there's just some part of myself that feels that I'm a hobby artist or something, that I'm not an adequate enough artist. So that's why I needed this spell. Anyways, and so in my living room, or in the living room of the place I'm staying, I have my painting up. And so I did the little portal to the future there, using all of the things that my friends who believe in me gave me. And then I imagined that the painting was already done and how good it felt to look at this giant painting that I've been working so hard on. And then I went back and I hopped back to the portal so I could come back to now, because I believed in myself. I do this kind of stuff a lot for my inner child who needs healing, so I wrote it in the style of a children's book because I'm really trying to learn how to write my own children's books, so I figured this is a very good first step for me. Okay, I'm like rambling because I'm nervous, but I do think that spells and tools like this, because I view this as a tool for my mental and emotional health, I think they should be accessible to everyone, so that's why I'm sharing it. Okay. This is for me as the Curious Little Frog. The frog approaches the future portal. Their friends place magical items there for this little frog. If they believe in me, so can I, says the frog confidently. The portal opens up with a whir, and we were like, and we like made the portal open up. As the curious little frog believes in themselves, with the power of friendship. It hops through. The frog's eyes adjust to the bright lights on the other side of the future portal. The gallery lights, facing the biggest painting this little frog has ever done. And then my friends helped me with the spell by being in the future, and they said, "Amazing work, Sunflower! This is incredible, Sunflower! Your best yet! I always say that!" The frog turns to see the gallery of friends, and Frog and Toad, congratulating them. At this point I turned to the gallery, which was all of my stuffed animals, including Frog and Toad. It worked, the frog exclaims. I believed in myself. The portal to believing was very powerful, the frog decided, and quickly hopped back to it to go home. Now that the frog knows how it feels to believe in itself, they never have to feel too small again. Okay, so that was a spell I did, and then I fell asleep. I feel like I needed to integrate that moment. But what I thought would happen is I thought I would then like start working on the painting immediately, because it really did feel amazing when I looked at it, and in my mind's eye this painting was done and my friends were congratulating me, and it felt so good that I thought that that alone would be enough of a motivator. But what really happened was that every limiting belief that was the things that were actually keeping me from believing in myself, they came up. So every time that a person has told me that I wouldn't make it as an artist, that came up. Myself telling myself I wouldn't make it as an artist, that came up. The times that I didn't finish paintings that I really cared about, all those came up. Wowee. I asked to believe in myself, and what was shown to me was every way that I don't believe in myself, so I could fix it. I thought that doing this like spell or gestalt therapy, or however you want to say it, would help me move forward, but all it did was tell myself that I'm ready to get rid of stuff. So it made me wonder, you know, in other times, I've heard it asked, you know, when you ask God for patience, he doesn't give you patience, he gives you an opportunity to be patient. So I'm taking this opportunity to believe in myself, and it's caused some crazy spin and things that I guess I couldn't have imagined myself being able to do, because it's been so much healing. But now that I'm here and I'm starting this process of removing those limiting beliefs, those things that were keeping me from believing in myself, I have so much more energy. Doing this simple stuff like an underpainting or moving forward on a painting, it would take me so much emotional energy, because it felt like every time I was painting, it felt like an emotional battle. And so of course I'm going to be exhausted every single time I paint. I'm fighting a million voices in my head. So by revealing all of those voices of disbelief and like plucking them out one by one, even using the journal technique, I used that journal technique that I taught you in the last video, where what I feel versus what I believe in myself. What I didn't do is I didn't feel like I believed in myself. And now, because those things that were holding me back were shown to me, and it wasn't this, for me, it wasn't this overt thing. It was just all of the next day and all of the next few days in my mind. I thought I would feel better. I actually felt worse. I was writing everything down and I was curious. I was like, why do I feel worse? Until I realized what was happening. And that's what I really wanted to share, is that sometimes when you ask for something, it might feel worse for a little bit first, but that's because you're getting rid of all of those things that were keeping you back from it in the first place. So I just want to be a little bit of a motivation, maybe, that when you're working on yourself, if you find yourself running into what feels like really, really big obstacles that don't really make sense because of how hard you're working, maybe that is the root of something else, and it's giving you an opportunity to change your story. And it felt like that was what was happening to me, is I got the chance to change what was holding me back, which was my internal story for myself. This lack of belief in myself and this forced trust that other people will be the only ones who can take care of me, or I'm not even really sure now. I would have to look at each of the things, but I trust in my ability to take care of myself more now, and I believe in it because I got to see it. happening. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity to believe in myself and that I gave myself the power to face the things that were keeping me from that. Because I just feel a lot better. Okay, that's all for today. I hope that you try a spell of believing in yourself, and I'm so curious what other people's spells could look like. For me, it was, finishing paintings, but for you, I don't know what you do, you know? I'm so interested what believing in yourself could look like for you. So, if you feel vulnerable enough to share, don't feel like you have to. I would love to hear from you in the comments. And thank you so much for staying here with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I love you so much for your humanity and for your ability to try and try again. Bye!